Okay, guys, welcome. We'll be getting started here in just a few minutes, formally, but feel free to hop in the chat, say hi. We'll do a little bit of a get to know you before we go ahead and get officially started. One second, let me raise my chair up so you can actually see me. Cool. So, yeah, this is the first time I've done an Ask Me Anything on Twitch, so it should be pretty exciting. Um, see all of the fun people, all the fun things, um, and get a lot of participation from this. We will get started here at 5 o'clock. I know that there's some people from DevPoint Labs that couldn't get on here until 5. DevPoint Labs is a boot camp out of Salt Lake, and they contacted me about doing this, so I do want to give them a chance to actually participate. But yeah, if you're here, go ahead and say hi in the chat. We can get to know each other. I'd love to know who's watching. I see that in the meantime we did get a follow from AziraFail60, which is awesome. We love follows. We love the interaction and getting to know people. And yeah, it should be a pretty chill day today. Just kind of talking about meetups and stuff. I think my camera's a little bit behind. So I'm going to see if I can just hardwire that in real quick and we'll get a better connection. No, that one. We want that camera to not lag on us. That would be ideal, right? No camera lag would be super duper 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 ooper ideal for today and all of the days and all the things we do. And yeah. Did that freeze on me? We might have had a freeze or... You freeze up? Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure the chat works. That it shows up on the screen right. Because every once in a while, Unglued Dirt, that's an awesome name. Yeah, I crashed it. So, let's check that it's moving slowly. Yeah. It says that I am just kind of maxing out on the internet things. My Wi-Fi is good a good chunk of the time, and then every once in a while it just craps out. Hi, chat. Welcome. I'm glad to see you guys here. I would love if my chat would show up on the video, but apparently this one is not happening. So let's throw it over here. No, I'm not on Wi-Fi. There's a hard line somewhere. And I think I actually do a 30 frame per second. And I believe we're still slow. Right? Cool. I apologize for the latency. That's my fault for trying to do something after a work day. Who knows? Okay. Cool. So let's go ahead. I'll introduce myself for anybody who's not been on this channel before. I am Mariah Peterson. I stream as SoyPete01. I can be found on all of the things. At either GitHub is SoyPete, everything else I am almost exclusively Captain Nobody 01. And I can be reached at a bunch of meetups. I do meetups almost every week. I stream almost every week. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. And one of the things that I do is I work with a nonprofit called Forge Utah, and our whole thing is providing educational and career experiences to developments. Unglued dirt, hey. Is that what that says? So, we really do want everybody to have opportunities to learn and grow, and just have an awesome, fun time. So, just 1 minute, I'm going to turn this camera off. And then, and we will get started in approximately 1 minute. Not you. Webcam. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Glad to see everybody here. We'll go ahead get started. I am Mariah Peterson. I am a data engineer by day at Weave. By night, I run meetups. I stream on Twitch. I write intro to Go stuff. I run several meetups. And man, we're having a party today with that camera. So, we're going back. Yeah, like I said, follow me on Twitter. Check out any of the meetups at Forge. We'll get to that link later. And so I just want to get to know people who are here in the chat. Are you new to the dev community, technology? Are you here as a student? Are you looking for a job, working? My goodness. What can I say? Throw it up in the chat. Let me know who you are, and ignore the dang camera that's just having a pitiful party right now. What can I say? Ooh, we got a couple students here. Ooh, a student at V-School. How do you like V-School? I've heard things about V-School. Oh, my camera's now officially trying to do green screen capabilities. This is what happens when you use your phone as a camera, guys. Wants to be green screened. Oh, we got a meetup attendee, though. That's super awesome. I think I've talked to you, Snurg the Destroyer. You showed up on a couple of my meetups previously. So nice to see you again. Oh, I know Olivia. Welcome. I do not have a SteelSeries Apex Pro. Unfortunately, Unglued Dirt is from DevPoint Labs. I use my phone as my camera. 90% of the time it works. I have a little app sponsored by EpoCam. And it is just not cooperating. The other times I do have another camera that is just that has a 30-second hard time out. So, oh, that is my keyboard. Sorry. Duh. Yep, it's a great one. Apex 5, I believe, is the one that I. Oh my gosh. Why do you keep trying to do green screen, you dumb camera? I keep hitting it on accident when I put it up. New to tech. Your first job. Did you accept the offer, Olivia? Because that would be super awesome. Oh, you know somebody else who started at Weeb. That's super great. Yes, and this is the best keyboard I've ever invested in. Cool. I'm excited to work with you, Olivia. That's super awesome. Okay, I'm going to, if you would give me a nice 20 seconds, 30 seconds, minute, just keep chatting. Again, I'm going to switch cameras to one that I like for a moment. But I'll keep talking to you while I'm here, and we'll keep chatting in the chat. So we've got vSchool, we've got DevPoint Labs. I know Olivia taught herself. How are you liking it? Are you guys almost done? What are you studying, and what are you interested in doing when you leave? Ooh, we got a raffle entry. Thanks, Snurg. Computer science grad, like grads. You graduated with your undergraduate, or what's up? 'Cause that's super awesome. Ooh, we got another raffle entry. Just so you know, I have 12 billion stickers that I need to get rid of. Ooh, we got a follow. Awesome. So that raffle will be for some of my 12 billion tech stickers from everything under the sun. An associate's degree. Oh, that's awesome. That's super awesome. I'm super excited for you. How many? Okay, so we had. I do not know how to. Zyzis6 has 3.5 weeks of DevPoint Labs. There's 12 weeks? 9 weeks? How many weeks are in DevPoint Labs? I totally forget. I've been there like 12 times, and I don't know how long their program is. Module 5 of 6 at vSchool. Capstone is a full stack project? Well, that's good. 11 weeks. That's awesome. That's super awesome. I think we're all self-taught to a certain extent. The idea that you'll learn everything you need to get a job is kind of silly. Especially with CS related job careers, it's like there's so much, you know? So much. to learn. Skyburn from DevPoint Labs. That's super awesome. Uh, Sorry, Skyburn. I hope that's your name, but that reminds of Starburns from Community for some reason, and I hope you don't get that all the time because that would be super unfortunate. Um, but I'm glad you're all here, and hopefully my camera will load up here and we can get started. And okay, here we go. Cool. Where did that go? I don't want you in the header. Silly thing. Okay, we got a webcam frame. We want to add an NDI source to it. And we want that NDI source to be my camera. Cool. So, let's go ahead. We will keep going, keep chatting. And I will just keep trying to get this camera working so you can see my beautiful face. So let's talk about community. How many of you guys have ever been to a dev community event? I know Olivia has because that's where I met her. But who else? Who's anybody here been to a conference, been to a meetup, been to a hackathon, or like a workshop or anything? Anybody been to one of those? Let me know in the chat. Olivia, you do count. You can talk about how great the Women Who Go meetup is. Anybody? Anybody? Oh, Silicon Slopes. I've been there. Women Who Code meetups. I believe those are in Salt Lake. Am I right? Utah Ruby user group. Is that ERG? Okay, you do Ruby. That's awesome. I have never had to touch Ruby. They usually, a lot of these things are. A lot of they kind of end up doing chapter type things, right? So it ends up being pretty nice. Just like Women Who Go, that's one I run, so thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. We got 2 for the Utah Ruby user group. Thank you, Purple Knee. Where is my NDI source? Okay. Cool. I'm gonna hide that. And we'll just keep on chugging through this. And if my camera turns on, we'll check later. Cool. That's awesome. So community, I know that that's exciting. I'm really excited that so many of you have been to these kinds of events, because a community is like kind of the hidden like jewel of tech careers. Is this idea that there's a bunch of us that have things in common. We like to do the same thing, and we get together and we like teach each other and we learn about it and we grow together. Like that idea of uh, growth and community. I don't know what the word I'm trying to say is, but the fact that we can find friends and people that like do what we do and love it is crazy. I just don't see that anywhere. I mean, when I was in graduate school for physics, they tried to do it, but we were all too busy and nobody cared. Nobody had the passion and nobody really had time. But we do, and we get together, and it's super awesome. And I'm glad you guys have had a chance to experience um, that already so early in your careers. So let's talk about communities. There's lots of reasons that communities are created, right? We'll have communities for people who are in certain roles, such as you'll have SREs, you'll have product type for product managers, there's UX communities, there's people who do database management, people who do front end, people who do back end, all kinds of different reasons to get together and be part of a community, right? You have people that are regional, right? I know one of the meetups I work with is in St. George. So they, St. George web developers. Everybody that likes tech and is in St. George is welcome to join that group, and they have a variety of talks, a variety of topics, and it's for everybody that's in that space. You can have them for programming languages. The example, Ruby user group. There's the Utah React, Utah Go user group. You can have them for organizations, things like Kubernetes or Amazon. There is an AWS user group, right? For people that are on AWS or on GCP or I'm trying to think of another organization that does stuff like that, but I can't. Don't have that currently in my head. And another one is another reason there are things like Scrum and Agile user groups, meetups, stuff like that. Reasons to get together in conferences and trainings and all that jazz. So, see, look at that. Isn't that just the most beautiful blue screen you've ever seen? There's tons of reasons to get together and form a community. And the awesome part is that we get to do that. Agile and Scrum. We've got a Scrum fan here. That's awesome. And we get to make friends, right? Like the idea, we get best friends, people that can help us out. We're building a network. We're building a community. A lot of you seems like you've already been involved, but I just if you want to share, kind of why you joined, when you thought was a good time, I want to talk about this a little bit. But I'd love to hear your experiences and know kind of a little bit of what you guys have enjoyed about it, right? Benefits you've seen, and just stuff like that, right? So, your favorite parts or whatever. If you've been to one of my meetups, please, only praises, no teasing, etc. So, let's go. That chat's right in the way, ain't it? Let's move our chat box just so that we can actually see what's going on this lovely little screen of ours. Cool. So, Let's talk about skills you can learn at meetups, right? Sometimes there's things like workshops. I've seen Google Developer Group do workshops where they're like, hey, let's talk about um, machine learning for a day, or let's talk about doing commands for the Google Home, or let's talk about how to deploy a Google App Engine project, right? Like tons of things that allow workshops where you can learn new technologies. You have user groups where they focus on kind of a little bit more narrow things. The Ruby user group's a good idea. Ooh, Hack Nights is a great idea. There's a lot of stuff like that. Free Code Camp is study groups are infamous for just like kind of getting together and working on projects and things like that. I don't know if you've ever been to a meetup where they will demo a new technology. We had one last night on Firebase. So the Utah Go user group had one on Firebase last night, and we had so many demos on how to use Cloud Firestore and how to use it with your Go app and all the different kinds of code that you can use to kind of just take advantage of the powerful Firebase tool. A whole meeting about regex? I need that because I have zero regex skills. And sometimes you'll get company case studies. I know one of the meetups I'm involved in is the Kubernetes meetup, and they are constantly getting people that represent companies to come out and talk about how companies are using Kubernetes and new tools they're working on and cool things like that. And then you get cool skills. You can go hack with all your friends and do your own projects. I know people that now that they have the coding skills, they're buying Raspberry Pis and they're automating their house themselves, or they're mining Bitcoin, recording videos. Just literally you can build any tool you want once you learn the skills, right? So, another thing that comes from skills is salary. I don't know about you, but money's always. That's true. Snurg brings up a good point. If you're looking for a job and a company is talking about a use case, or somebody that represents a company is coming to present, you can get a feel for how that company's culture is, what their mission is, their tools, and what they try to do every day. A lot of if the company is providing a certain kind of service that you're interested in, that can give you a lot of reward from your job, and it really helps you learn if that's a place you would enjoy working. So when I talk about the monies, as you progress in your career, this doesn't necessarily happen when you're new. But as you get older and you get more skills, especially specialized skills, you'll become a valued commodity. People will want you because you've worked on Kubernetes, or you've worked on Docker, or you've worked in Go. And they'll start looking at your resume and your projects on GitHub, or talks you've given at a meetup or something like that, and you become valuable to them. That gives you a place to, have just a decent income, a good salary, make the big bucks. Things like machine learning, cloud technologies, sometimes regex, honestly. Fintech. People that have lots of experience in the fintech sector are high value commodities between other fintech companies. Like, it really helps you become a better person having these kinds of unique skills, and getting them from I personally find that getting them from meetups and seeing them in action are a lot more beneficial than reading a blog post most of the time. Meetups are also a great place to find jobs, right? Like, companies 90% of the time, you'll go to a meetup and a company that is speaking is also hiring, right? So that means you can talk to the speaker about what it's like to work there. People will come and say, hey, my company's hiring. And then you can reach out and talk to the person that said that and be like, hey, what does your company do? What's their tech stack like? And just kind of figure out if that's something that you would enjoy, if that's something that would make you happy. And like, if that would make you want to go to work every day. Like, the tech industry is a place where you should enjoy your job. There are so many jobs available. It's something that you should enjoy doing every day. And the best way to get a job is to talk to somebody at a meetup, because that puts you in the front of the line. You become a referral. Companies are going to be more likely to interview somebody that was referred than somebody from a random job board, because they have to parse hundreds and hundreds of job boards posts, or an employee says, hey, I know this person, they're an awesome worker. They would rather take that any day over searching through a bunch of resumes. So having that opportunity to talk to somebody, to interact with them, to get a feel, and to get them to recommend you, gets you at the front of the line. I mean, I may or may not have referred Olivia to work at Weave with me. So, like, and I've referred other people. I got my job because I spoke at the meetup, and the guy that ran a meetup was like, hey, you should come work for us. I'll refer you. Like, it's the most efficient way to get your foot in a door at a company and start getting interviews and really just kind of interact with people that are hiring. Another cool thing about meetups is you get to just meet people. Any of you Dead Point people recognize that guy's shirt? This is my favorite picture. I stole it from meetup.com, and they clearly stole it from the DevPoint Labs website. But the whole idea of the Meetup platform is to get people with like interests together. And when you get people with like interests together, and they chat and they hang out, it's a lot easier to facilitate learning new things. Like, even if you hate people like I do 90% of the time, I don't want to interact with them. The moments when I do usually helps me be a better developer or be a better person. And I usually walk away just awesome. I learn about new technologies by meeting people. I can't tell you how many times I have met somebody, even online, through LinkedIn or through Slack or through Twitter, and that person has introduced me to a new technology or a tech stack or a person who can facilitate my career in a different way. Well, I actually have an example of that I will share later. But, like, people, that network that you build of people, they might not be people who you go out for a cup of coffee with, go out for a beer with, or go bowling with, but they're people who do have interests, you can talk about problems you're trying to solve with, talk about new technologies, and try and just really better yourself and people around you. Yes, I agree. I agree 100% with what Olivia said about it being motivating. So if you haven't already, I want to give you just some pointers on how to get involved, right? How to just step your foot in the water with a community so that you can get your first job, make your first project, make your first open source commit, or, whatever you might need to be doing to just really take the next step with your career advancement. First thing first, you can't see it. I'm going to move this chat screen just for a minute so that you can see the link. Is during the COVID, please take advantage of online communities. They're still there. Meetups may not be taking place in person. Conferences may not be taking place in person. But there are still ways to connect and have an online community. Um, LinkedIn has done a really good job. Let's just go to LinkedIn real quick, and I just wanted to show you some of the things that they've been doing um, to make this. Yes, what Olivia said. Get involved in Slack channels. So this might be a little bit hard to see for a minute, but if you go to LinkedIn, let's get really big here. Come on. I said plus. People have added things to their profile picture. That gives you a cue that that person is here to be part of a community. I've seen LinkedIn posts have gone up 1,005%. So let's just go to my network right here. Discord is super popular. Discord groups. I don't know if any of you watch streamers on Twitch. Oh my goodness, I went way too big. But you can get on Discord groups of technologies that have Twitch. I know Microsoft has a Twitch. I know CockroachDB has a Twitch. Azure has a Discord. And they all have Discords, right? Or they'll have a Slack that you can get involved in, a Kubernetes Slack. You can get involved in the Gophers Slack if you like Go. I recommend the Forge Utah Slack. I'll get that right back up there. That's a place. I run that Slack for the Forge Foundation nonprofit, and we talk about coding and projects, and my Wi-Fi's dying, so I can't show you all of the cool tags that people have. Dang it. Oh gosh. Let's just go back here and you'll just have to take my word for it. So let's get that Forge. There we go. Here it is. That Forge Slack link back up. If you have any Discord groups you'd like to share, please feel free to put those in the chat so that people can take advantage of the community aspect while they're here. But what I was trying to say is people put things on their LinkedIn profile picture like open to network or open to mentor or hiring. Things that say, hey, contact me if we're not already contacts, right? So that you can create your community while we're remote. This right here, if you follow that bit.ly link right above the chat, you'll be able to join the Forge Foundation Slack, where we have people who, they are mostly local to Utah, not all of them. And we talk about cloud technologies, gRPC, GraphQL, Go, Java has come up, Kafka has come up, Python. We have a ton of front-end stuff, JavaScript, React, TypeScript, like any question you can have from anything that gets talked about there. You can learn so many things. Slack and Discord. Same thing with Twitter. I would say follow me on Twitch if you want to learn more about Go. I do Twitch every Friday for that. But people on Twitter, you can learn so many things. You can follow people in threads. I've been surprised how active people in the Go community, people who program in Go, are particularly on Twitter. That just is super surprising to me, and I don't quite know why. So last thing I want to talk about is meetups. We've already said you guys have been to quite a few meetups already, but there's a lot of meetups in Utah that are still happening and happen all the time. We have the Utah Go user group that I run that happens. The Machine Learning Utah group that runs. Women Who Go Utah happens monthly. Kubernetes Utah happens monthly. The Utah Java group is still happening. The React.js is still happening. Utah Software Craftsmanship is still happening. like there's a ton of meetups they've moved online. They're doing them on Zoom or on Google Meet. And like this is the best way to interact with people because the groups are small. And they almost all of them have a Slack that you can get on where you can chat with people after. They almost all have internal job boards where they show what's posting, or they'll let people announce that they have jobs. Like, meetups are incredible for being part of a community and joining a community. Um, and one of the best thing about meetups is they're super duper friendly to new developers, to new people, and people who are there for the first time. And like honestly, that's like one of the best parts about meetups is how easy it is to join when you're new. I went to my first meetup when I had less than 6 months experience, and I felt totally comfortable asking questions and getting information. I was able to give a talk with less than a year. And I was running meetups when I had just had 18 months of experience, and I was able to get involved and learn from mentors in the space, learn what people do, what kind of skills I need, and how to grow. Like, it's just incredible the kind of connections you can make with meetups. And it's really easy. On the meetup page, they'll give you a date, a calendar reminder, and they're all on Google Meet or they're all on Zoom. You just join in remotely. Maybe you're working on a project and you just kind of listen. I do that all the time, even when I'm hosting. Um, but it's a great way to ask questions and to get to know about things that you wouldn't know otherwise. Um, and really, it's like, and you can connect with people all over the world. The best thing about these remote meetups is that they're no longer local. I have speakers from the East Coast, from the West Coast. I have people attend from South America. I had somebody from Argentina speak at one of my meetups the other day, 2 weeks ago. And so, like, your community automatically grows. Conferences are coming back. Well, that's ugly to look at. But I just kind of wanted to, as conferences come back, and as this community grows and things come back, I kind of wanted to just share an experience. And if you guys have anything similar, throw it in the chat. I'd love to hear from you about connections I've made through an online community that have translated to me growing inside a global community. So I went to GopherCon. So GopherCon is a huge conference for people who program in Go. Back in 2018. That was my first big conference. And when I went there, I was really into machine learning, and I talked to this guy after he gave a talk, and I'm like, hey, this is super awesome. I'd like to learn more. And he said, okay, well, follow me on Twitter, and we can connect later. So I did, and we chatted. And he was a formal Googler. So I was able to get him to come out to Utah and give a talk about Go at one of our meetups. Later on, I was working on attending a different conference, a Gotham Go conference, which Gotham Go takes place in New York, which is kind of funny. And yes, the Gotham Go's conference is Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, so you can go Google it. And this guy reached out to me on Twitter saying, hey, I saw you went to BYU. I went to BYU too. Turns out he was another Googler, the head of product for the Go language team. And then later, I met another guy on Twitter who was local to Utah and wrote the Caddy web server that you can use to deploy dynamic websites, very similar to Nginx. And I was able to talk to these people and get them to come out to the Go meetup. And this is one time we were all at one Go meetup, right? None of these people, well, only one of them lives in Utah. The other lives in Connecticut, and one lives in San Francisco. We were all, because we were part of the Global Go community, and we had made these connections, and now we were all part of a network. We all were able to come together and have a really awesome meetup at Weave, right? And bring that kind of global community down local. And it was super awesome. And I felt super cool. But like, we had a huge turnout that day. And so not a lot of people came to get to know these, kind of worldwide Go furs. And it just helped us build the local Utah community. And it was just awesome. And yeah, so it's me when I had blonde hair, and Francesc Campoy, Steve Francia, or SPF 13, and Matt Holt. Um, S- they're all super awesome people. So just to recap, why you should be part of a community, why you should go to meetups. You want to gain skills, you can network, you can present if you really want to, you can learn things, and you can socialize and meet new people and meet people that will help advance your career and just like give you a +1 in your life. So yeah. Uh, and again, here is the Forge Slack. If you haven't joined, go ahead and join that right now. And so we can go forward. Like I said, this is an AMA. This is an Ask Me Anything. So if you guys have questions, I've kind of gone through my whole spiel. And now's the time for you to go ask me questions. Throw questions up in the chat. I'd love to answer anything I can about the Utah tech community, about meetups, about getting your first job. Literally anything goes. Any questions? Throw them in the chat. I'd love. We can talk together and get going. Any questions? Oh, I just got a notification somebody joined Slack. Thank you so much. Any questions? Any questions about meetups? About meetups in Utah? About job titles, like things you want to avoid applying or things you want to avoid putting on your resume? Because there's, thanks Woody28XJ for that. I'm going to answer applying for, and if you want resume as well, let me know. I guess it depends on what you want to do. If you're just starting out, you can apply for all of the jobs, right? A lot of companies will use senior posts as or just as a catch-all, right? You can apply to a senior job post even if you're junior, because they might also be looking for juniors. They just aren't saying it explicitly. That's kind of like the company secret. They're looking for somebody who has the initiative to send them the resume, right? So, look for stuff like that. If you're starting out and you just kind of want to get a broad range of skills, figure out what you like, full stack developers, front end developers, back end developers, web developers, those are all great things to look at. If you want to do testing, you can go to QA. Be careful, because there's manual QA is going to be different. And some companies are very tricky, and they'll say, yeah, you can do tech support and work into it. But then sometimes what they say work into is you end up in a help desk type position. That's fine if that's your goal, right? Is to be tech support for an entire company or be part of the IT team. But if you want to be a developer, that might not always be a good track. Some companies do a good job of promoting from tech support to a developer, but not all companies do. So if you have the time and the bandwidth, to be picky about the jobs that you accept, try to stay for ones that have development opportunities. And have that keyword developer in them. I would also recommend be aware of tech stacks. Try to stay in like more current tech stacks. Stay away from things like PHP or Perl or text that's like just not super current, I guess. Okay. Next question from AH Muzzer 19. Are meetups beneficial or focused around interviews? If so, what are they? Are they or focused around establishing good resume? I have seen some. I've hosted meetups about resumes and about tech interview questions. But those are usually like special events, right? They're not necessarily like reoccurring meetups. They usually don't have like interview meetups that keep happening. But I mean, it's always, if you find an online community, you can ask that question. Or just search Meetup. I'm sure they have one that's there. Well, they'll do it. Free Code Camp is a good resource. They do the Free Code Camp study groups. I think they put some on regularly where they talk about that, about resumes and stuff. And like if that's something you really want, I'm sure I can find a recruiter to come talk about that again, because it's a really useful skill, actually, surprisingly. To do. I haven't seen. It's been, yeah. They don't always. Oh, I really like how many people are joining that Slack right now. It's super awesome Slack. Check out the channels Learn to Code and anything else you're interested in. Oh, job titles to avoid. Things that say tech support or QA analyst or stuff like that. Where they say like code specialist, that's really just a tech support. Look for things that say developer or engineer. That would be the best thing. Okay. What in your opinion on applying to well-established companies compared to startup companies? Benefits to either? Yes. Benefit to well-established companies is job security. You are most likely to keep that, like you're going to keep that job for longer. Just hands down. The likelihood that a well-established company is going to run out of money is very slim. The likelihood that a startup is going to run out of money is very high. So there's a little bit of risk there. But to be fair, going into tech, there is a lot of turnover in tech. People get laid off regularly. But I mean, we got another raffle ticket. Geekery made, thank you. Sorry. Turnover really quick. That being said, there are always people hiring. So I've said this once, I've said it again. The first job is hard. The second, third, and fourth job, it's easy. Once you've established yourself, it's really easy to get that second job. If you get laid off, somebody is always hiring after you have that first job. We got another ticket. Thank you, Azira Fail 60. So I'm saying we should always be prepared for job insecurity in this career field. We should always have some kind of a backup fund or a reservation for that. But startups are generally speaking riskier. Your job security is lower. But you get more opportunities to work with new technologies, to build products from the ground up, and to accelerate your career faster at a startup. You will be stretched at a startup. You get more freedom at a startup. There's less rules. There's less regulations. There's just not time to care about a whole lot of dumb baloney, right? Um, but uh, at an established company, there is a lot of bureaucracy that sometimes gets in your way. I know people that only work at startups, and that's because they like the fast-paced, get it out type of environment. Um, and there's a lot of people that only work at enterprises because they want that established. They want somebody to tell them what to code. They don't want to think for themselves. So yeah. Unglued Dirt. You're 17 at DevPoint Labs. Yeah, why shouldn't you apply at 17? Some of the best coders are ones that are self-taught right out of high school. They can hack your pants off. Yeah, don't care about your age. Will there be hurdles? 100%. But if you have the skills, you have the skills, and you apply and you keep going. If you want a job as a web developer, you apply for that job and you work for that job. I don't care what your age is. Just do it. And awesome. And if your startup gets sold, you will only make money if you have purchased your vested options. Be careful about stock options. You do have to buy them a good chunk of the time. They're never just gifted to you. So if you don't buy them, doesn't matter how long you worked at a startup, you don't get any money. So yeah, be aware of that. I agree. Post-COVID, there will be a ton of flexible work options. Just Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft. They lead the culture thing as far as what we should do, and they are not requiring anybody to go back to work. Hybrid work is going to become super popular. And I've been working remote for a year plus, and it's it's different, right? You're more likely to work when you're in off hours, but we can still be productive. So the company doesn't care. We do have to I listened to a podcast about this recently. And burnout rates higher. People work longer hours. We have to reestablish a work-life balance. We've kind of already figured out how to keep a work-life balance in the office. And we have to figure out how to do that again with this remote. But I like it. I don't have any problems with work-life balance. I've been super fortunate. I'll go take my dogs to the dog park in the middle of the day and get away. Or the other day, I went to a couple of Pokemon Go gyms at 4 o'clock because I got frustrated, and I came back 15 minutes later. And I think I played in a raid at a gym. If anybody still plays Pokemon Go, let me know, because I'm convinced that everybody secretly still plays. We just don't talk about it like we did in 2016. I'm also convinced that everybody that has their car parked on the side of a random street is playing Pokemon Go. That's my new thing. But that's definitely a side tangent. So what else? What else you got for me? Other questions about working, getting that first job, meetups in Utah, etc. Are you raising your hand or saying goodbye, Purple Knee? So with flexible work options, are developer able to live outside of... Heck yeah! Thank you, Micah, for still playing Pokemon Go. Tons of people are moving from... Oh, you still play Pokemon. Gotcha. Yes, everybody should still play Pokemon. Back to my things. I've talked to people at Meetups, who've spoken at Meetups, who work for Microsoft, who work for Google, who work for big Silicon Valley or East Coast companies, and they're moving. They're moving to Florida. They're moving to Utah. They're moving somewhere where they can actually avoid to buy a house because they don't have to go back to the office. They're going to keep working remote. So like, and a lot of people are just like still hiring remote, even for junior, which was really hard. They never used to hire junior developers remote. They would hire people remote, but you had to be senior. And now that they're hiring junior developers and kind of building those opportunities, it's getting a lot easier for us um, to work at those big companies, those companies that have big names, right? Like, it's totally, yeah, it's way easier to lots of people. Texas is getting a huge influx of people because Elon Musk said to, and because people are moving their headquarters there. Um, and like, it's way easier to just negotiate. I know somebody. I have a friend who lives in what's it called? It's not Creek. It starts with Mill Creek. So it's either Mill Creek or Midvale. I don't know where he lives. He lives in one of those two places. Who has worked for Walmart Labs, Reddit, Stack Overflow, and Google all remotely. And he's able to negotiate that because he's established a pattern of working remote, and now especially that everybody's remote, they don't require him to go in office. And so it's getting way easier to pad your resume without having to move to San Francisco and only be able to afford a closet. At what point in one's programming career can one get health benefits immediately? I do not know a company that makes you wait. If you get a full-time job, you get health benefits. Every company I have applied to has done that. So, and they usually offer really comprehensive ones. Like I said, development programming is a high demand skill, and they reward you for it in all of the ways. It's super awesome. I'm sorry, I'm getting a dry throat. So, yeah, I get a dry throat when I talk a lot. So, just took a minute to take a drink. Yeah, speaking about benefits, when you're looking at jobs, a lot of people will say, like, be very careful about your benefits package because companies that value you as an employee give you a comprehensive benefits package. Thanks for the follow, Studio JVLA. Like, that's super awesome. I'm really glad that you guys are following me so we can keep in contact and I can hear how you do in the future. But yeah, health benefits is part of it. Paternity, maternity vacation, 401k matching, health savings account. Some people will give you stipends for various things. Stock packages, etc. Like, be aware of your benefits and make sure you're negotiating yourself well. Companies that value employees give them good benefits, and there are tons and tons and tons of companies in Utah that value their employees. So many people are happy here at the jobs they have. So, AH Mazur 19. Working remotely, do you ever see people being paid more due to a company being based in a high price housing market like San Francisco, or will they average your pay to area you work from, i.e., California wages compared to Utah wages? Yes, that does happen. People, they do have. It's very common. It's the bigger you get to have like cost of living adjustments to pay. Um, that's been the standard practice for years. So it costs more to live in San Francisco. They charge them more. With working remotely, it's really hard to enforce that. And companies are coming out, right? Like, new trend. Like, companies are starting to just say base pay everyone. Like, everybody gets San Francisco rates no matter where you live. We can't enforce people to live in San Francisco. We want to get the best talent. Maybe the best talent lives in India, or maybe the best talent lives in Poland, or maybe the best talent lives in Ontario, Canada, or the best talent lives in the middle of the Everglades in Florida. I don't know how they would get internet in the Everglades in Florida, but that might be where they live. And so they're trying to be competitive and say, okay, California based pay everywhere. And that definitely encourages people to move. It's harder to, like, interface with people that way, but it's very common. I mean, it's becoming that idea of universal pay scale and even pay no matter where you live is becoming more common. It is not the de facto standard. Advice for negotiating salary. Personally, I am a horrible salary negotiator. I undervalue myself, like, by habit. It's a habitual thing. Um, but I would say the best way to negotiate is to interview multiple places and know what they'll give you. Be aware of what Glassdoor says the average is, what LinkedIn says the average is. You can look at things like levels. FYI. They do pay scale as well. And just know what the standard is, right? For your first job, it's going to be, you're not going to make a lot. By not going to make a lot. Like, they tell you, when I went to college 4 years ago, they're like, yeah, starting salary at $40,000 is great. Yeah, no. You should be making $50,000 to $75,000 at your first job, if it's full time. And Glassdoor will tell you that if you're a junior developer, that's what you should be making. And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, well, you don't have any work experience. And you can say things like, okay, well, can we reevaluate in 6 months? Or can we reevaluate in 9 months? And hopefully then you could get that salary bump quicker than might be their normal cadence, right? Based on how you perform, right? Like, it's all performance based, all about the value you provide for the company. So things like that. I would say interviewing regularly always helps with negotiating salary at a new company or an existing company. The only way to know what you're worth is to see what people offer for you, like what they offer for your skills and what they offer for you to come onto the company. Especially if you're getting recruited. If a recruiter is contacting you, they'll tell you that means somebody wants you. Even if you're new, if it's your first job, it wouldn't hurt reaching out to a recruiter. They can tell you a bunch of people that are hiring a junior and what their average is, right? Like, recruiters talk to hiring managers every day. They know what hiring managers are willing to pay for junior developers, and they're talking to multiple companies across the board. So if you reach out to a recruiter on LinkedIn or on a Meetup or on a Discord or on Twitter even, and say, hey, I'm looking for a job, they might have 5 leads for you to interview at. They might get you in the door faster, and they will tell you what to expect. A good recruiter will coach you through your interview, through your resume, and through salary negotiation. Bad recruiters don't. Good recruiters do. Um, I say that having worked with recruiters who have done all of the above. They have helped me with all of those things. Sorry, I had to take another drink break. I also get distracted by alerts coming up on my internet, so there is that. Anything else? Other questions? Things we can talk about? Thoughts? I have no idea where my mouse is. Found it. Oh. How do you find communities again? I would start meetup.com and put in your region. That's like just the most curated source. Next place would be LinkedIn. You'll find people will post streams, they'll post meetups they're speaking at, they'll post conferences they're speaking at, etc. Like it's a good place to start. Um, uh, or you can just go to the Forge Slack. We have 4 meetups that are running, and as we start getting out of the COVID, more people will be doing in-person ones, and we'll start having even more. So the Forge Slack is a great place to start. What are the hardest things to get up to speed on when starting a new job? So this is for everyone. It's like no matter what level you are, these are the things that are going to be hard. One, the company's tech stack. Every company has a unique tech stack, and it's impossible to know everything that lives in there, right? Like, you're not going to be an expert on every piece of software or every technology that your company uses, but you have to get familiar with the stuff your team owns, and it takes a minute. Like, it's hard. It's not easy to get up to speed and to feel like you're contributing, and no matter what level. It takes, at Weave, we expect a senior developer to require 6 months to onboard into our tech stack, and that's pretty standard. Like, just to feel comfortable moving around and editing code and understanding repercussion, it takes months. And sometimes you have to learn new things. Maybe you previously were working in Python and now you're working in Go, so you have to learn a new technology. Maybe you were deploying React apps, and now you're not deploying any apps at all. Maybe you were on using VMware, and now you're doing Kubernetes. Maybe you had hardware you were deploying to, and now you're deploying to the cloud. Like, there's so many things as part of a company's tech stack that you can be unfamiliar with, no matter where you go. Every company is going to have a different tech stack, and you're going to have to get up to speed. Companies know this. The more established a company is, the more they will help you. If you're working at a startup, you're flying by the seat of your pants by yourself. I mean, but there's less tech stack, right? You get to be more influential in the kinds of technologies they use, and stuff like that. So there's benefits both ways. But you get a lot Yeah, that's definitely just getting familiar. Like, when you interview with somebody, you're not showing them that you already know how to solve every problem that they already have. You're not showing them that you know how to code in the language they're already using. You're showing them that you're a smart learner, that you're a smart problem solver, and that you can communicate well and interact with their team well. They don't expect you to walk in and know everything because you can't. You've never worked there. But they expect you to be willing to learn and to work with the people that are already there so that you can get up to speed quickly and you can help the team contribute. Okay, Woody 28XJ. In an interview, do tech companies value the standard Utah job seeker, or is there any benefit in looking like a coder? What do you mean looking like a coder? Like looking like a hacker? Like I could hack into somebody's database? Like they don't like that. I mean, they expect you to have experience, knowledge. They don't, like, if you're looking for a programming job, they expect you to have programmed before, whether that be in a boot camp or in college. To know how to write in a technology is very important, right? Like, do you have to have 3,000 open source commits and 12 projects on GitHub? No. Like, you don't have to dedicate every second of your free time to building your own projects. Some people just work at work, and their resume is a attire. It doesn't matter. I've seen people show up in t-shirts, and I've seen people dress up. I prefer when people take it seriously and dress up, but some people just don't care. Like, and it doesn't matter. I dress up. It helps people take me seriously. And if you talk to a recruiter will tell you to follow standard interview practices, right? Like, you should dress better than the standard, like, work uniform of the company, right? Like, if a company's dress standard is t-shirt and jeans, then a button-up shirt or a polo is good for an interview, right? Like, if a company's dress standard is business attire, then you should go in like church attire, right? Like, you wanna like look like you're taking them seriously. So, but like, if a person is interviewing you in t-shirt and jeans, then they're gonna be comfortable if you're in the same thing. Like, totally fine. Um, my favorite Pokemon, like, of the ones I have on the game, or like ever, ever. Yeah. Personal presentation. Uh, Favorite Pokemon? I don't know. I just caught Zapdos. Like, that's pretty cool, right? And personal presentation. Yeah, like, if you just professionalism, right? Like, they expect you to take it seriously. But if the company's laid back, they're gonna have laid back interviews. If the company's high risk, they're gonna be very serious about it, right? They expect you to be nervous, and they expect it to be stressful. That's okay. Like, they're gonna take that into account. Like, if you're stressed, they know that. That should help you be feel better about it. Culture shock I experienced when starting a coding job versus another type of job. No, I was in graduate school before my first coding job, so like I was pursuing a PhD in physics, and like they were like telling me to work 70 hours a week outside of my schoolwork and then get paid $19,000 a year for it. And so I'm like, heck no. Before that, I worked in a lab in college, and that was super laid back. And and before that, I did some software stuff at when I was in college, and they were business, like they required business attire and whatnot, and like I don't know, like I feel like my goal was to go into academia, and they're pretty relaxed, and like software kind of fit. But I've never worked at like a real businessy, tight laced, like what you see with the financial companies where they require you to like wear suits every day to work and all that kind of stuff. Like, I guess that's a reflection of my age. But, um, no, I didn't. I felt. I've worked at very good companies. I really haven't had like bad companies. Places where I've always felt comfortable and valued, and I think that's really nice. And that's just ever since I entered the workforce. So consider it an anomaly, or consider it a benefit of the tech careers, right? I'm glad that Azira Fail 60 likes Electabuzz, that's their favorite. I found out on Pokemon Go that you can evolve an Elect. I mean, I knew it before. I think you started being able to evolve them in Diamond and Sapphire. Was that it? So I mean, I've evolved them before, but it's pretty sweet doing it in Pokemon Go. All the weird stuff you can do in that game is insane. Um, but that again, Charizard is amazing. I think my life would be complete if I had a Charizard. Uh, Chasmanian Devil. For some reason, I feel like that's not a Pokemon. If that's a joke, I also don't get it, and I apologize. Um. Oh yeah. Thanks for coming. I'm glad that we could provide this. Um. And that you could have opportunities to network. I really hoped that more like mentors and stuff would be on here, people that you could like connect with. But uh, people spend all day on their computers, at home staring at a screen. They don't get up and walk around, and they don't always necessarily want to keep staring at it for hours and hours after. So I get it, but everybody is super willing to answer questions if you reach out to them and whatnot. So I hope you have a lot of success in that, and feel free to connect with me on all of the things, so that I mean, part of the job I'm not paid for is making sure that everybody gets these kinds of opportunities, right? That you can have a community, and that you can have the opportunities to network, and that you can meet people that are looking. So feel free to jump on the Forge Slack, and just say hi. Join the Learning to Code channels or any other channels that are interesting to you. Um, or even, I think you can even create new channels. I don't think we've locked that down. So you can do that as well. We do have a meetup. We don't have a meetup next week. I'm hosting the Kubernetes meetup in 2 weeks. We have all of our meetups on Tuesdays at 6:30. You can check them out on the Forge Slack or on Twitter. I think I do have a link to the meetups on Twitch as well. Um, it's been a minute since I checked my Twitch page to know that. Um, other questions I can answer for you guys before my throat gives out? Can you hear that raspiness? The raspiness coming through of my throat. Green's my favorite color. You can't see it, but I have green strobe lights on right now, and my hair is actually blue. Blue's a close second. So, not that that means much. I guess it makes you human, right? It's very humanizing. Why would I ever choose between a cow or a pig? Like as a pet? Or like to eat? Because if we're talking about eating, I feel like that's offensive to vegetarians. I'm not one, but it could be potentially offensive. I have to choose between a. Okay, question then. Are they wild pigs or domesticated pigs? Because that makes a difference. Who clicked my mouse for me? Okay, definitely a wild pig over cow. 100%. Did you know there's actually wild pigs in New Guinea that have. They might be domesticated, but they are the only animal besides humans to use tools. They will get sticks in their mouths, and they will use the stick to dig holes. That's tool use, and that is the first sign of intelligence that divides animals from humans. So definitely wild pigs for the win. How did I find a mentor? Olivia, I met Clint. Meetups. Like, I went to a meetup. I don't really have a formal mentor, like somebody I go to for everything, but I do have people that I go to when I have questions, right? The bird talking about crows using tools. I feel like that's ironic in a way. Is ironic the right word for that? Yeah, no, so I went to a meetup and I joined the Slack, the Gophers Slack. That's where I first actually talked to Clint Berry. He's the CTO at Weave. And then from Go Meetups and stuff, I was able to come in contact with him, and he's actually been super duper beneficial for me as a leader and a mentor, and all those kinds of things. But I wouldn't get the chance to interact with him at all if I didn't go to meetups regularly. Like, 100%, I think it happens most naturally at meetups. Like I said, what is it? LinkedIn has an open to meetup, like open to mentor tag that they put on there, so you can find mentors that way. Hearing people talk is a good way to find mentors. And stuff like there's a lot of ways to meet people who could be potential mentors. I always recommend meetups, though. I mean, maybe I'm partial to meetups, and maybe I just broke the chat. But that's like been the most natural way for me. And I really think, like, just in general, it's the most natural way. How come do I need to refresh the chat now? So yeah. 100%. I think meetups. Or Slack. Just talking to people on Slack or whatever. Super nice. I think I got my webcam working. See, I did! Now I can see you guys. I broke the chat, but I got my webcam working. Oh, it's still lagging. That's the Wi-Fi. So, yeah. Just talk to people. I think that's the best way to get a mentor. And also, there are formal ways. Like, there are, organizations, like GoBridge or Mentorly, that, can connect you with mentors. They have people sign up that are willing to like mentor, that want to do free time and whatever. And that's a good way, like, to get started, right? To just find somebody that's willing. Not everybody is gonna be willing to or want to mentor. See, this is all I wanted to do, was to change the text color. And there's that too. Yeah, I'm having some internet issues. I apologize. That the internet just hates me. This happens regularly on the streams. One time, I was doing a meetup on Twitch, and we were using StreamYard, which is an online streaming platform that lets you have multiple video feeds. And my router went out, so I had to host the whole thing off of LTE on my phone, and that was like just the greatest thing in the world. So my internet's not the best. I'm supposed to be getting fiber, but it's not. And it's hardwired in, so there's that too. What advice do you have for new devs or people trying to break into tech? Just like in general, perseverance. The first job's hard. Finding your first job's hard, but once you get that first job, it's really easy to gain skills and to build that resume and go forward. Take advantage of everything that's free. Meetups are free. There's free courses. There's free walkthroughs. There's free tutorials. You're gonna constantly be learning, so take advantage of everything that's free. Another thing is make sure that you enjoy what you're doing. You're going to be in a job where you have to constantly be learning, and if you don't like what you're learning about, go find another job. There's hundreds of jobs, thousands of jobs available, and just make sure you enjoy it. It's it's not easy. There's a lot of high pressure, but if you enjoy it, then you'll be able to find the balance and get everything done the way you want to. Other questions? Olivia's getting all of them now that she's going to come and work with me. Anything else? I know my internet connection is just crapping out for you right now. And I super apologize. Super duper apologize for that. It's just unfortunate. And I need to call my ISP and yell at them. I mean, not yell. We have to always be nice. Be nice to people. Hey, what are the type of companies to avoid when job searching? It's a good question. Again, it depends on what you want. Like for me, I'm not like a super fan of back-end development. Not back-end, front-end development. Or like I don't want to do JavaScript and stuff like that. So like I avoid full stack and front-end jobs. Like for me, that's not worth my time. Some people like if you want to be creative, then avoid jobs that like there are jobs where you're gonna be dictated to. So be very careful about like how much involvement you have in the planning. I would not be happy at a job where some software architect or CEO came and told me what I had to do and how I had to do it, and I had to do what he said. Like, I need to be in charge of my work and stuff. And, like, that's most important to me, is that ability to contribute freely, right? Like that's fulfilling, the most fulfilling for me. So that's the kind of company I would avoid, one that dictates. Some people work best when their requirements are outlined and they're told what to do and how to do it. Like some people work that way best, and if that's what you need, that's what you should look for. But that's what I would personally avoid every single time. Cool. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna throw up a link screen where you can get into contact with me. Or in contact with Forge. And I'll play some music for you guys. I'm gonna step away for a few minutes. I need to get another drink. I am thirsty. Oh, there goes my stream. I am thirsty, and I need to go get some more water. So, feel free to keep putting questions in the chat or to connect with me or with Forge on all of the things. And I will be back here in just a minute.
everything's falls apart. London mask covers me up. No one here to shine on me a light. Shooting for a little star, but it's just too much right. No one here to pull me to the light. We never stop on darkness. We'll never walk on pain. Don't need your trouble sympathy. We'll make it to the stars. Everything shatters down. Back in this empty room. No one here to save me from the dark. Searching for the little star, but it's just too much again. No one here to tell you to your side. We never stop on sadness. We never hide in pain. Don't need your trouble sympathy. We'll make it to the stars.
Yeah, you're a good boy. Good girl. Okay, we should be back. Oh, I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. Perfect. Any more? We shouldn't have any music going, but that play thing in there sure sucks. And it's killing my internet. I 100% think it's because of the multi-stream functionality, which I apologize for. So, that being said, I'm glad you're still here. You're all hanging out with me. Trying to get that focus working. If you have any last questions, any more questions, anything I can help you with, I am here. Feel free to follow me, reach out to me, message me at any point in time. Otherwise, we'll probably be wrapping that up here. Wrapping up the stream here pretty soon. So I can restart my computer and nuke everything. Any other questions? Any additional thoughts? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, for chatting, letting me get to know you a little bit, knowing that everybody still plays Pokemon Go. If you really want to, you can add me as a friend on Pokemon Go. I feel like we've gotten close enough for this. And yeah, keep me in the loop. Connect with me. I want to know what you guys do, where you find your first jobs. You can still enter that raffle. The winner will be getting a sticker pack. So, thank you so much for joining us today. Questions, thoughts? I'm still here. I'm going to be hanging out for another 15 minutes. If anybody would like. Otherwise, feel free to log off. I don't want to keep you here for nothing. We've all got lives, right? We've all got Netflix to watch. And Pokemon gyms to go beat. My dogs hate it when I stream. Because I usually shut my door and I have created needy monsters, which I love. I have 2 dogs that sleep next to me, literally like flanking my sides at night. But I'll shut my door because they can be loud when I stream. And they just sit there and they scratch the door the entire time, and it's quite hilarious. Love them to death. They're best doggos I could ever ask for. Right now, I think they figured out they can go look out the window and see friends. Ha! I will be connecting with you 110%, Micah Lund. 110%. And probably anybody that watches this stream and sees the chat. Oh my gosh, that camera's still lagging. I plugged it in with a cable. Seriously need to nuke everything and start over. You can optimize for network connection, and clearly I need to update my router and fix my hardline and all that other great stuff. Oh, and if you have any tips on how to get more remote raid passes and get all of that way I can fight in all of the remote raids, let me know. Because the raids never work, never are at a good, they're usually when I'm working, and that's not a good time to travel. Just saying. For anybody who plays Pokemon Go. If you want, I'll be streaming on Friday, working on Go code. If you guys are interested in learning Go, feel free to check out my stream then. We can chat more. I will chat about anything while I am typing my Go projects. I'm actually working on a project around meetups, which is super fun. I'm trying to parse uh, the meetup page's static HTML in such a way that I can just link it anywhere. Go Raid Party. Is it available on iOS? Because I might get it, because I play a lot. Oh, is that one of those things that let you, like, be anywhere physically? Or does it help you know when other people are at raids? Because that's what I need, is to know when other people are there. Yeah, also, if you're learning Go, I do have an open source tutorial. Like I said, take advantage of all of the free things. If you go to my GitHub, it's called Go Lang Zero to Hero. I assume it's yes to the last one, where they tell you where people are participating in raids. Anyway, Go Lang Zero to Hero. I get distracted really easily. Apparently, that's called nerd sniping. And as a former physicist, I am a huge target. Um, it's a good place to learn Go. Go's a hot language right now, especially if you're interested in backend development. I mean, any development really, but it's mostly a backend language. Really hot commodity right now. One of the more highly paid languages, I believe. I don't know, but that statistic changes every single year. Um, but oh, gotcha. Yeah, you get to spoof your location. Gotcha. Um, uh, super nice. Um, yeah. I'm always looking for people to test it out and help me and make issues and comments on whatever because it's an open source tutorial. So, if you want to learn Go, which you should all want to learn Go because it's the best programming language. I only have 2 Go meetups and a Go conference. Um, so clearly it's the best programming language. Um, yeah. Um, what else can I tell you? What else can I tell you? Weave is hiring, right, Olivia? Um, if you have already joined the Forge Utah Slack, we do have a job board there. It's called the Jobs channel, I believe. It's a very active job board. They'll let you know if people are hiring for junior positions or not, and you can message people again, figure out what the company's like, they work there, if they what their oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. What their remote work policy is, etc. Um, it's always great to get to know people that work there when you're looking. Um, uh, other good places to look besides meetups. Um, LinkedIn. People post on LinkedIn all the time. Um, and yeah. Okay, so I'll just give you some final words of advice. Um, I came into this career, luckily. I dropped out of my graduate school and I had some programming experience, but none professionally. I'd done stuff in school. I'd done Java in high school. I'd worked a little bit as a QA manual QA in college with like 5 minutes as a Drupal web developer. And so I was lucky, and somebody was willing to take a risk on me and really handhold me and mentor me through learning how to code and learning how to navigate things and all that great and dandy stuff. Um, I didn't have a CS degree and I didn't have a lot of projects under my belt. But once I got into that company, learning Go and programming in Go, I was able to find the community and to get information. I started going to meetups, and like I said, meetups got me where I am today at Weave. It's introduced me to the people that founded the Forge Foundation, so I could be there to be a part of it. Meetups is how I met my co-organizer for Go West, which is a Utah-based conference that we're running. That's going to take place this October. You can get more information at gowestconf.com. And so, like, being part of the community is really how, um, like, it was my springboard to get me from just knowing how to code to, like, really being in the career, to get my job, to, you know, get me in the public eye and be able to be a mentor and a resource for people. Like I think it can do like any goal you have, anything you want to do. The community will help you get there. Like I think everybody just it's natural. They want to talk about technologies. They want to explore new things. They want to learn, and they're super willing to share. And nobody's judgmental. Nobody's mean. They really just want to help each other. So I wouldn't hesitate, even if you're scary. I'm antisocial and shy, and it's still really easy to meet people and talk to them and to learn new things. Um, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad you stuck out with me this long. I hope to see you at a future meetup or a future stream or on the internet. Um, and